All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarah Abraham, and I am the coordinator for the UCEAP Peace Corps Prep Program. And I'm very excited to talk to you today about the program and see if it's interested, answer your questions that you may have about this program. So I'm going to do a quick presentation, and then I'm going to answer your questions. All right. You should be able to see my slide now. So I like to start with just a basic introduction to Peace Corps because I don't want to assume everyone knows what Peace Corps is. So if you're new to it, here are the top 5 things I think you should know. First, it's a highly professional and selective federal program where volunteers work with local communities to achieve that community's goals. You typically do this after college, but they've waived the age limits. You can do it at whatever point you would like to, but most often it's after you graduate college. And you choose the region where you go and the type of work that you do in Peace Corps. Peace Corps is a 27-month commitment, which starts with 3 months of intensive training, including language training, and then 2 years in service in a community that it has asked for Peace Corps' help. There's many countries around the world with active Peace Corps missions going on right now. And there are a lot of benefits for that come along with serving in Peace Corps when you're done with that 27-month commitment. That's 1 year of non-competitive eligibility status for federal jobs. So that could be anything, like it says here, from NASA to the Department of Agriculture. And there's also graduate school and student loan assistance and more. And we'll talk a little about that later as well. So what the Peace Corps Prep program is to help make you a particularly attractive candidate for Peace Corps. It's a certificate program. And what it does is develop the skills and experience that you need to become a highly competitive applicant. And if you're not 100% sure about Peace Corps, that's fine. This is still a great opportunity for anyone who's interested in a career in international development, in public service, and working in the NGO sector when you finish your UC career. And what the program does with a combination of coursework at your UC and perhaps abroad, or at your transfer institution if you're a transfer student, coursework and hands-on experience. And then also there's a professional development piece to it towards the end, and we'll go over that. And that's usually something you're going to do anyways as you wrap up your career at UC. Lots of benefits for the Peace Corps Prep program. It significantly increases your chance of getting into Peace Corps, though we don't have a particular percentage of how much. The UC has a very long history of having alumni go into Peace Corps, so that's also an advantage to you. So being a UC alumni and completing this program really strengthens your chances. Aside from that, it's a great resume builder. And like I said, a chance to do professional development while you're still an undergraduate. We have an optional alumni mentor program with returned Peace Corps volunteers who are also UCAP alumni. So you get to hear about their experiences. Because I didn't personally serve in Peace Corps, so we want to make sure we connect you with those who have or are currently serving in Peace Corps to get that perspective from them. At the end, you get a lovely certificate from Peace Corps, and you get honor ribbons from honor cords from UCEAP for graduation. So here are the 4 core competencies that Peace Corps has identified as key to what service is going to be like to prepare you for service. So the first is training experience in a work sector. The second is foreign language skills. The third is intercultural competence. And the last one is professional and leadership development. So what I like to do now is briefly go over each competency and tell you what is required so you can get a better sense of the program if it's something you might be interested in. So training experience in the work sector. Peace Corps has 6 different work sectors. You can see them here. The most popular is education, but there's also health, the environment, agriculture, youth and development, and community economic development. So if you are interested in this program, you're going to pick one work sector. And I know for many students it's a challenge because they really are interested in more than one, but you got to pick one. And take 3 upper division courses related to that work sector. Again, that can be courses you're already taking for your major or your minor, or perhaps GE. They could be courses that you took in your transfer institution, or they could be courses that you take on a UCAP program. Now, to complement this, you're going to complete 50 hours of related work to that work sector. Now, this can be volunteer work, can be work you get credit for at your campus, can be work that you get paid for, credit, volunteer, any classification. And then you'll write a short essay on it and how it has prepared you to be a Peace Corps volunteer. Just going to put a plug in right now. You might be wondering, I wonder if this class I have in mind will work. Well, I have developed a student guide for every UC undergraduate campus. You can find it on our webpage, and it gives you examples from your campus of courses that might fulfill these requirements. Now, it's just an example. It's not an exhaustive list. You can imagine how long those lists might be, but it's something that at least get you started. Also, it contains all of the program requirements, and it's a very useful guide. And I'll show you where that is after the presentation. Second is foreign language skills. If you already speak a language other than English, great. You're probably already done with this. You just need to get a letter from a professor or a placement exam, proficiency exam to demonstrate your level of that language. If you're taking courses, it's all going to depend on the language that you were studying. Spanish requires the most coursework if you're using coursework to fill this requirement. And that is 1 year of intermediate level Spanish. So that's usually in total 2 years of Spanish to get to that level. For the quarter campuses, that is Spanish 6 through Spanish 6. And for semester campuses, I believe that's Spanish 4. Again, if you're a heritage speaker and you've taken a heritage class, that's probably going to put you higher than intermediate, you're fine. You can also talk to a Spanish professor and have them write a letter saying you're at least of an intermediate proficiency and you're good to go. If you're using French or Portuguese, you need 1 intermediate course, not a whole year. And then for every other language, you just need a single college course in another language. The third competency is intercultural competence, and this is a collection of requirements. The first is a diversity and inclusion course, and this, if there are some campuses that have intercultural communication classes that would work for this, but other than that, more broadly, this would be any course where the main focus, not a week or two, but the main focus is race, gender, sexuality, or disability. There's also other things that might fall in here. There's some examples in the student guide, and you can always reach out to me and ask if a particular course will count. The second part is 2 global or area study courses. This is pretty broad. This can also include a lot of anthropology courses. Now, one of these can be waived if you go on an EAP program that is in a past or current Peace Corps country. I have a list of those on our webpage as well, in case you're curious. The third requirement, as I've been mentioning, is UCAP programming is 1 term with UCAP. There's no particular Peace Corps Prep Study Abroad program. You can choose any of UCAP programs. Summer, fall, doesn't matter what time of year, doesn't matter where. We really want to keep it open so that you can customize this whole certificate to your experience. So anywhere you'd like to go, any of our programs are fine. And you don't have to do all the requirements for the program while you're abroad, but just going abroad fulfills that requirement. And then when you get back from studying abroad, you'll write a short reflection essay on that experience and how living abroad, staying abroad, thriving abroad has prepared you for Peace Corps service. Because we really do think that, you know, saying that you can go into a community for 27 months and be effective is one thing, but to have studied abroad and done something similar really is meaningful and really is a better preparation for Peace Corps. The fourth one is professional and leadership development. And like I said, a lot of these are things you're going to want to do anyways as you wrap up your UC career. You're going to want your resume reviewed at your career center. That's definitely something you're probably going to do anyways. They all have interview workshops as well. You're going to want to do that. And that is especially to prepare you for the Peace Corps interview. And then you need to come up with a leadership experience by the time you graduate, and then write an essay, a short essay about it. And this could really be a lot of different things. If you are in student government, that would work. If you, let's see, past students have founded businesses, founded student clubs, Girl Scout troop leaders, IM sport coaches, anything that demonstrates leadership is what we're looking for here. There are two additional program features. One's required, one's optional. The required one is either e-portfolio of your essays and other materials or a LinkedIn profile. And then the optional one is that alumni mentorship program. That's not required. It's just something that you want to do. We want to pair you up with someone who can talk to you about that experience. So if you are interested, and I hope you will, you are already in the middle of step one. So congratulations, you're attending an orientation webinar. The next step would actually be to apply to the program. And the fall application cycle is open right now. If that's too soon for you, there's also one in the spring. And what the application is basically all the requirements I just went over, how you plan to fulfill them. So don't worry about getting right answers or getting anything wrong. No one's been rejected because of their answers. What it is, I just want to make sure that what you have in mind is going to count. So the last thing I want to do is for you to do 50 hours, let's say, of work in your chosen work sector and then find out it doesn't work or won't count. That's a huge waste of your time, and I would hate to do that. So it's basically a roadmap. And if there is a course or an experience that doesn't quite work, I don't reject your application. I just send you an email and say, hey, do you have another course you could substitute for this one? This one is not gonna work. And I work with you to find something that is gonna work. And then we finalize your application, and that really is your roadmap, and you're ready to go and complete the program at your own pace. So once your application is approved, everything looks good, you really are, it's a self-paced program after that, and you have until you graduate to finish everything. And I completely understand that plans change. So if your UCAP program changes, or if a course you want to take isn't offered when you need it, you need to substitute another one, just send me a quick email and let me know, and I'll let you know if any red flags come on up. When you are ready, this is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but they're documents like those essays and your resume, and you just submit them to me and I review them. And I will sign off on what is called the exit checklist. And this is the piece of paper that goes to Peace Corps that says that you have completed this program. So if you do apply to Peace Corps, you're going to want to upload this piece of paper. If you're not done with the Peace Corps prep program at the time, on your Peace Corps application, you'll just say, I'm in a program but not yet finished. And then that once you submit all your paperwork, that is the end of the program. I do get a lot of questions about eligibility. Who's eligible? It's not restricted to any major. You can be of any major, any campus, as long as you are in good academic standing, which for most campuses is 2.5 GPA. And you must at some point participate on a UCEAP program. Now, if your UCEAP program is canceled because of COVID, we will waive that requirement for you. But you have to have applied to the program and demonstrated that you were going to go on it. Can a student go on any UCEAP program? Yes, any single one. From summer physics to summer research to year-long immersion, it does not matter. The choice is yours. Do all requirements need to be fulfilled abroad? Goodness, no. That's way too much pressure to put on you and your study abroad experience. You might want to do your 50-hour experience abroad. You might want to do your language requirement abroad. You might want to do something totally different abroad. It's completely up to you. Can previous coursework experiences fulfill requirements? Yes, so the courses you've already taken at UC, they count. Courses you've taken at a community college, they count. Where we do draw the line though is high school. No high school experiences, no high school courses. Do you have to serve in Peace Corps if you do this program? Absolutely not. No obligation to continue on and apply to Peace Corps. You can begin and end your experience with this certificate. Can only US citizens apply? We do not check any kind of citizenship status with this program, but do keep in mind that for the actual Peace Corps, only citizens can participate. How much does the program cost? Nothing, it's free. And this other one, I touched on it before, but it does confuse some people. Is the prep program a study abroad program? No, there's no UCAP Peace Corps prep study abroad program. This is a certificate offered through UCAP, but you just take whatever you go on, whatever UCAP program you would like to go on. So I did mention application cycles. So the fall ones right now, it's open for a month. Apply away. You have until November 15th, and I'm here to answer any questions you have. If now's not right, then we also have the one in the spring, which opens on March 16th and closes April 16th. And we do this every single year. So if you're a first year and you're not sure, you can wait till next year. A quick reminder about me as the Peace Corps Prep Coordinator and for Peace Corps recruiters, of which each campus has an assigned recruiter. You come to us for very different things. So if you want to know about applying to Peace Corps, about the current status of Peace Corps, what's going on right now with COVID, you're going to want to talk to your recruiter. If you have any questions about the prep program, then you're going to want to direct those towards me. So we're both here for you, but we answer different questions. All right, so I'm going to end that and show you quickly some resources online. Let's see. So if you go to UCAP's main page, here we are. At the bottom in partnerships, you will find us. You can also Google it and you'll take you there right away. So here's the intro here. I basically went over all of these things. Here is my email address. Feel free to click on that at any time. I do a webinar twice a year. You're at the fall one. There's one in the spring. So this information will change once today is over, and it will have the information for the spring one. And you can register for that. Now these 3 tabs are where all the good stuff is. In the How to Apply tab, you have the deadlines again for the cycles. You have the application link. So you can see what that looks like. If you want to know what all the questions are ahead of time, and I know lots of people are like that, I'm like that, There's a copy of the whole application in the checklist, so you can see what kind of you're getting yourself into. And then here are all the campus guides. So let's see. I'm always so biased. I always pick UCLA, some of Bruin, but each one, it's taking forever. So like I said, it breaks down every requirement and gives you examples. So for education as a work sector, I've listed, again, just a sample of courses at UCLA that would work to fulfill that requirement. I also pulled out different experiences for the 50-year experience at your campus, just ideas, but also ways to fulfill that 50-hour experience abroad. And I did that for all the sectors. So definitely something to check out. Once you're in the program, go to program steps. It'll let you know what you need to do. There's the exit checklist I told you about that will that you will need to apply to Peace Corps. But also I've developed some LinkedIn tips for you, some ePortfolio tips. And then because we are in the current world that we are in, ways to fulfill the 50-hour work sector requirement virtually. I put that resource together last year. Different ideas for each sector on how to do it remotely, because not every place is open just yet, and you might not feel comfortable doing certain things indoors. So develop that resource for you last year. So it's still relevant. Check it out if that applies to you. And then if you want to know a little bit more about Peace Corps, in addition to the session tomorrow that I told you about, the website is here. There's also a link to find your recruiter that's been assigned to your particular UC campus. And then there's a PDF of all the benefits that are included in Peace Corps service. So I wanted to make you aware of that as well. So now I'm going to stop sharing and look at your questions. Oh, first I'm going to sign off with the recording, and then we'll start the Q&A.